Guys, welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. It's the big week. It's Joshua versus Usyk. And, talking about big weeks, not just for the fight, obviously for us as well. As you could see, as usual, I am joined by Josh and Ben. But we're not alone this time. We're going to be going through a preview, as always, about the fight for Joshua Usyk. But we, of course, joined by Alan and also Tony. Guys, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Are you? All good.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear, guys. As we've already done an interview with Alan, and of course we've got Tony here, who's a very highly respected trainer. These guys have got great boxing insight, and we're really excited to have you guys with us. So as usual, we're just going to run through the card. Starting off with the Campbell Hatton fight. He comes into his fourth professional fight, already 3 wins on the card. Let's ask you guys, but Alan, how are you feeling about Campbell Hatton? Do you feel that he's a really exciting prospect?
They're bringing him along slowly, I think. His camp's doing the proper thing, picking the good fights for him. He's progressing well. Who's he fighting now? Usyk, isn't it? He's fighting Usyk. I don't know much about Usyk, to be honest. I've seen bits of clips of him. Nothing special. I think, to be honest, what I have seen of him, they need to get a better caliber of opponent for Campbell.
Yeah,
if he wants to get better, if he wants to progress, a better caliber opponent than Jura, I think.
Ben, obviously, I think you'll probably agree. Are you thinking a Campbell Hatton? No, a Campbell Hatton win here, and Josh, same for you. Are you also thinking a Campbell Hatton win?
Yeah, no, definitely, it'll be a Campbell Hatton win. Sorry to correct you, Alan. He's actually had an opponent change. I believe it might have even been today. It's now Sonny Martinez, he's lost 4 of his 6 fights. So again, to be honest, the same points still apply. He's not. He's not sort of he's not coming into this. I wouldn't have thought with many ambitions of trying to actually get the win. But he's not been knocked out before, so it'll be interesting to see if Campbell Hatton can do that. They are moving him very slowly, and I do think that they do need to look at possibly moving him on a bit faster. But at the same time, with a relatively limited amateur background, I haven't got too much of a problem with him having sort of another 5 or 6 fights like this, just to, he's not got a stoppage yet. So, he's getting some rounds in the bank, building the experience.
You agree with that?
I think he's obviously being built up on the strength of it from his dad, obviously.
Yeah.
Who was an exceptional fighter, an exceptional ticket seller, and, a great fighter, great achievements. If he wasn't Mickey Hatton's dad, he'd probably be on a small whole show and found wanting by now. I don't think he's exceptional. I wish him all the best, and I hope he goes a long way. But at the moment, they're bringing him along slowly, and that's the only way to do it. You can't. He's far from ready to be chucked in at the deep end.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously, because of his dad, he's always going to have the eyes on him straight away. So it's a hard one, and maybe he should have had a bit more of an amateur background. But then at the same time, I think his name is just a great one to have on the card, and obviously so early on the card as well. I feel it kind of adds a bit of beef to the card when really, the caliber of fighter, I suppose he is at the moment, isn't quite there. Let's move on then to the obviously the Marku card where it comes up against Prodan. Ben, who have you got for this one?
I think it's a step up for Marku. I think in this fight, it's about time he took that step up. He talks the talk, and I think with Prodan, he's the firm favourite with the bookies. And I think it's going to be a good fight. I think they'll go to war. I think they'll both have to dig deep. They've both got power, high percentage of KOs. But I think Marku's going to lose this. I think he might be knocked down a couple of times and he'll lose on points. I think Prodan's got some strength to him, and we see Marku can be knocked down from the Ryan Charlton fight, and we all know Ryan Charlton wasn't at a comfortable weight. Prodan is at a comfortable weight. He's got power, and that's the way I see it going.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Both of them yet to have a loss to the name. Obviously, both of them just got the one draw on the card. Guys, do you guys disagree with anything that Ben said there? Are you?
This fight should have happened in August, wasn't it? Should have happened in August. Marku got injured.
Yeah.
And then they switched trainers. They switched camps. Marku did. Whether that was tactical, planned, I don't know. Just so he can work more with his trainer. But no, I think Marku's going to be. He's the bigger puncher. I think he's the more cool boxer. It's a perfect opponent. I think Prodan is for Marku. He'll just wait. Marku's he'll just wait for him, and I think he'll do him. He's a more cool boxer than Prodan. Well, I go for a Marku win, a stoppage win. I think as well. I think he'll stop Prodan.
Tony, we'll let you have the deciding vote then on this verdict. Who do you reckon's probably going to get the win here?
Marku, he's more of a defensive boxer. Yeah, stoppage win. He'll stop Prodan.
Sure. Obviously, another big name coming into it. Callum Smith back in action. Josh, let's hand this one to you. What? How do you think this one's going to go? Is it obviously? Are you excited to see Callum back in action? What are your feelings?
I know it's a big fight for him. Debut at the new weight. I know me and Alan were talking sort of off camera about this, and it'll be exciting to see him. You know, he's at 6'3". He's a big super middleweight. So I'm quite excited to see him. You know, he's at 175 now. Move training camps. He's in with Buddy McGirt. And I think, it's long overdue. Castillo, it's by no means an easy fight. He's been in there with Marcus Brown, Bivol, lost on points to both. So it's a proper test at this weight. And I think it'll really give us a steer on, what Callum Smith's got left coming off the back of his loss to Canelo. But, I do think Smith will win it. And I think he might force the stoppage in sort of the middle to late rounds.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He's Callum Smith. He would have learned a lot from the Canelo defeat. He learned he had to go up a weight. He was too drained at super middle. I don't know where he was 6'3". I don't know how we made the weight, the middleweight, super middle. So he's doing the right thing going up the light heavy. He'd be more confident going into it, bigger, stronger.
Yeah, do you feel that's more his natural weight then?
That's right. He hasn't got to worry about when Tony will know this. When you're training and you're trying to make a weight, you're trying to get fit and you're trying to make the weight as well. You've got to watch what you eat. You've got to watch what you drink. But he's going in there. I haven't got to worry about any of that.
Yeah, of course.
You just got to worry about getting fit and going in and he'll win. Stoppage win. I think so.
Tony, obviously, obviously yourself being a boxing trainer, when you have a fighter that's perhaps going up a weight, is there anything that you do differently? Like, do you imagine there's anything that Callum's doing differently in this camp compared to others?
He's probably being able to stay hydrated a lot longer and the cut weight, at the end. The last. You start losing weight initially in the beginning. The first, could be a stone overweight. You start first couple of pounds come off easy. When you get down to it, then it's really hard. The last few pounds. So I think he's probably enjoying his last 3 or 4 weeks training a lot more than he normally is.
Yeah.
Because he's concentrating on himself and training rather than himself and weight. It's probably still a task for him to make light heavy. He's still a very big guy. Light heavy's he's probably still has to graft to make light heavy. How he done super middle is anyone's business.
He's 6'3". He's pretty wide as well.
Yeah, he is.
Shoulders on him. He's 6'3" and big bloke.
No, definitely. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Obviously, we spoke a bit with you, Alan, about how yourself when you were boxing, the things you'd have to do to make weight, and you feel that maybe it'll just be going in with maybe even a healthier mind state, just not having to perhaps cut as much as he used to, not got to worry so much about the water weight. It could definitely give him an advantage going up a weight. moving on to the next fight, then we've got Lawrence Okolie back in action. I'm a massive fan of him myself. Ben, what are you thinking for this fight? What are your thoughts? Are you like myself? Are you excited to see him in action? Obviously, a big prospect, isn't he, coming through?
I don't think we can call him a prospect anymore. He's a world champion. I think he's there.
Yeah.
I think he's a really exciting fighter. His last fight when he won the titles, for me, phenomenal. I thought it was a really good performance. But I like the fact with this fight, he's not just took a defence, which like you think he'll brush him aside. I still think he'll get the victory, but I do believe it's not an easy opponent. Like still ranked high. I believe it's his mandatory as well. I think to take that.
Kravasic, I think, is the right pronunciation. Yeah. I wanted to avoid the pronunciation on that one, I must admit. But yeah,
I do think to take one, this fight.
I suppose I use the fact of prospect because I wonder if do you see Lawrence Okolie? Do you see him maybe stepping up a weight eventually?
Eventually, yeah, but I still think he has a lot left to do at heavyweight. I mean, sorry, cruiserweight. He's still got a lot he can do with it, and I just believe that he can go really far. And he's a great boxer. He'll come out on top in this, I believe. I think he won't clean up the division, but he'll get a lot more belts. And I do think heavyweight's where he'd be going next.
Yeah, definitely.
Did Oakley beat Watkins his last fight?
Okolie beat Glavaki for the world title. It was for the vacant, wasn't it? Because it got rearranged from, I believe it was supposed to be on the AJ Pulev card, and Glavaki, I think he got COVID or there was an injury, so Okolie did a right job on Jazuski, and then obviously last time out it was the rearranged fight. But again, he looked brilliant. I'm really excited about Lawrence Okolie. I think he can mop up at cruiserweight. Obviously, we'll hand it over to Tony and you, Alan, see what you guys think.
Really too. He's a big bloke. There's no way he's going to go the distance this fight. I really think they're both massive, big punches. But he moves around. What's his Prasovic? Is that his name? Is that how you pronounce it? Prasovic?
I think so. Honestly,
that's how I'm pronouncing it.
He moves around the ring a bit more than Oakley. I think Okolie will. Keep saying Oakley. Okolie, he'll just grind him down, I think, and it will all be over by round 6. Okolie, I think, he is the better boxer. He's the more calmer boxer.
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree with you. I think it is going to be a stoppage. Tony, I'm guessing you probably agree with Alan as well.
I would think so. Yeah, he's in a prime position. His age is right. Everything's right. He's in a good shape. He had some good wins on the way through as well. He's been his opponents have been picked, but very well picked off for him.
High quality opponents.
And he's performed some good boys, some good fights, and done the job on the night.
Yeah, definitely.
Luke Watkins, former British Commonwealth champion, made a comeback on Saturday, and he went on a KO in the first round. It shows where he is.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to the obviously the big main event, seeing Anthony Joshua back in action against Usyk. We've obviously just spoke about whether Okolie could move up. Usyk has obviously made that move, hasn't he? He's moved across into the heavyweight division. He's had an interesting, for me, he's had a bit of an interesting journey so far. I don't think he particularly looked as convincing as some may have thought, in his fight against Chisora. It's interesting though, because he's had a lot of time now. I imagine he spent time in the gym, probably beefing up to look a bit more like that heavyweight stature. It's an interesting one because I know we're very divided here. So I don't know who to go over to first, but let's go with yourself, Josh. Obviously, we've talked a bit about this as we would. You're thinking of Joshua win, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I mean, obviously, I know it's a split camp, as you say in this video, but I think Joshua. I just think he'll be too big, too powerful. When he starts throwing those uppercuts, whoever he's landed them on, they're destructive and they get the job done. The only one worry that I slightly have got is pictures of him. I know pictures can be deceiving nowadays with Photoshop and everything, but he does look like a slimmed down version of himself. And I hope that's not going to be an attempt to try and outbox Usyk, because I don't think he'll manage it. Usyk is an absolutely phenomenal boxer. But I think Joshua, he needs to just go in, be aggressive, take the fight to him, because what Chisora showed us against Usyk was Usyk's not the biggest fan of sort of being pressured. You know, he had problems all night long against Derek Chisora. And for me, that sort of laid the blueprint on how to actually beat him. Joshua is a different level to Derek Chisora, with all due respect to Chisora. So I just think he needs to do that, but do what, put his own little stamp on it. Brilliant training team, Rob McCracken, the whole camp now. It's all, it's such a big stage. I back Joshua to get the stoppage in round 7 to 9.
Yeah, definitely. Alan, we'll go across to yourself now, because Alan, I know that you're kind of in the agreement of what I'm going to say probably later on. You're fancying Usyk, are you still, for this one?
I am. I think he'll bully his way. I think that AJ he's lost too much weight. He's too lean. He's too. He's not the big powerhouse. He's not going to enter the ring a big powerhouse. I think Usyk will bully his way in, and as long as he don't catch them uppercuts, I think Usyk will have him. I really do. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of them for me. I think I'm also on the Usyk camp. I think Usyk will get the win. I think it'll be a shot win. And I think it all comes down to the boxing brain. And I don't think Joshua's perhaps stepped in with an opponent like Usyk. And if Joshua's just going to go looking for that uppercut, he's going to have to be smart about it. And I think, honestly, if Joshua doesn't knock him out, I think Usyk wins on points. I really do. I don't think Joshua's got what it takes to beat Usyk on points. I think he's got to go for a knockout, and Usyk will know he's got to go for a knockout as well.
That's why I think he won't be coming in the ring 18, 19 stone, AJ, because he knows he's got to go 12 rounds. Because there's no way. Obviously he can knock him out. If he catches Usyk, Usyk's going to go. Yeah. But I just can't see it.
No, but Ben, yourself, are you thinking maybe a Joshua win? And I wanted to also ask you your opinion. Does Joshua need to win by knockout on this one, or is this going to be one where he can win on points? Because I think my view is I think if it goes to points, I think we've got a new world champion in Usyk. I really do.
So I tend to agree there. I think if it does go to points, I think he wins, but I think he loses. Sorry, but Usyk, for me, I'm a big fan of his, but like when Chisora put the pressure on, he looks flustered, and I think Joshua can time the shots better, and he's got the power. And I agree with the ending that Josh said. I think towards maybe around 8, 9, I think it'll be a ref stoppage. But this is by far, for me, Joshua's biggest test. He's never been against someone who's in the prime, who can box, who can move, and Usyk is not a pushover. But the main thing for me is the big fight feels back. We haven't had this in a long time, and I'm just getting excited. And when this fight first got announced, I thought 90% would be on Joshua's side. But as you talk to people, it's so split down the middle, it could go either way. And for that reason, I'm just so excited to see what happens.
It definitely is going to be a big fight. Obviously, Tony, I wanted to ask your kind of thoughts on this as a trainer. Obviously, we spoke about the fact that Usyk kind of got a bit dominated against Chisora. He wasn't used to that physicality. Of course, he's had, I think, nearly 10 months, if not longer, since that fight now. What would you as a trainer be doing in that kind of scenario? I know it sounds stupid, but to get him used to the bigger fighters and like that kind of brutality of the heavyweight division.
When the fight was first made, I've always rated Joshua highly, and I think he's improving all the time. Obviously, had that big hiccup, which he's ironed out now. But he's got a fantastic team behind him, and they're not going to make mistakes. They made a mistake in the past. They've ironed that out now, and they won't make a mistake again, I don't think. But they've also said over the years, loads of times, a good big one beats a good little one. So I was a bit concerned the last couple of weeks. I've seen Joshua looking slimmed down, but like I said, it could be photoshopped. I can't see him being foolish enough to get himself down to a weight that's going to weaken him. But just trying to speed himself up. I think he should have just maybe dropped a little bit of weight. But if he leaves it too far, he'd be taking one of his strengths away. Myself, if I was going to play any money on the fight, I'm not a betting man, but my money would be on Joshua to win in 7 rounds.
In 7, wow! Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I think if he is going to win, he might have to do it with kind of around those rounds. I've spoke to other people who are potentially thinking maybe he'll do it around the 8th to 10th round, maybe because people seem to be pretty confident. But if Usyk, if it does go to points that Usyk's going to get that win, it's going to be an interesting fight for sure. And I think it's going to be one that probably is going to excite boxing fans. I think especially on the night, I'm expecting a really good fight. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? So, I mean, at the moment, we've got 3 people thinking Joshua, 2 Usyk, which just shows how, diverse this fight's going to be. Guys, I just wanted to ask maybe about Usyk with his game plan. Alan, what do you reckon his game plan will be? How will he avoid those AJ big shots? Will there be anything he can do? Obviously, the reach advantage is quite big as well. I think it's 5 inches Joshua has on Usyk. So it's going to be tough, isn't it?
He just got to keep those hands up and just bully his way in and just find his way in and basically just do that. It's really hard to it's hard to fight somebody who's taller than you. That it's easier for the tall bloke to win, but no, I think he just got to bully his way in, basically, and just hope that he throws them left hooks and catches AJ.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, isn't it? As you say, he's got to bully himself in, but we know that Joshua's kind of, his big punch is that uppercut as well, which is interesting. It's not like it's you look at maybe like a Wilder, it's going to be that big right hand. With Joshua, it is going to be the uppercut. So we might want him to come a bit closer in. So that I think that makes it an interesting battle as well.
Yeah. Obviously, he would have trained for that, to try to derail that a bit. I don't know, but AJ will just be jabbing him off, jabbing a few combinations, wait for the referee to break him up, and then start again. I think he'll do his best to keep us at long distance, and then go and just pick him off and go the 12 rounds. Hence why he's so lean.
I think if Usyk tries to bully his way in, I think he'll get knocked out and get hurt. But I think he's got to feint and look for leads, wait for Joshua to fall short. Joshua falls heavy shots. If he loads up with shots, and Usyk makes him miss, then he can capitalize on that. But if he doesn't and just tries to bully his way in, I think he'll get beat up.
It's an interesting point because we know that Joshua does like that show reel stoppage, don't we? And we know it would be interesting if Usyk can frustrate Joshua. Could there be an opening there? I think it could be a very tactical boxing event. I really do. Josh, any final thoughts on this fight?
No, I'm just really excited about it. I mean, it's interesting to hear everyone's sort of different opinions, isn't it? Particularly from the likes of yourself, Alan and Tony. So no, I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to see. Hopefully, I think everyone's hopes are that Joshua gets the win. I know you differ, Scott. Then we see Fury Wilder. Fury gets the win, and hopefully this, it's a sort of precursor for that big undisputed fight that we were wrongfully robbed of in August. So no, roll on Saturday for me.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be good, and
it's got a good undercard, and that's
very good.
That's another thing, isn't it? Yeah, very good undercard. I think the whole spectacle is gonna be great. We're also just to give ourselves a bit of a shout out. We're going to be doing a live watch along, giving our view of it as we watch it throughout the night, guys. So make sure you tune into that. And we're going to just move on a little bit from the obviously the Joshua Usyk talk. Josh, I'll let you take this away.
Okay, well, as obviously you'll have realised 25 minutes in, We've got Alan returning to the show, and we've got Tony Borg with us. So Tony was Alan's trainer. So, I mean, I suppose the right thing to do now, guys, is sort of hand over to yourself, Alan. I know you had that big fight with Naz, which we covered, and we just sort of wanted to get your sort of thoughts on that, really, Tony. You know, what was your approach to this?
Well, actually, the day Alan was off the fight, I was away. I can't remember where, but I was away with boxing somewhere else. I had somebody else fighting. I wasn't Alan's manager. I was his coach. I had a phone call to say that they've offered the fight against Naz. My initial reaction, immediate reaction was, don't take it. And I've known Naz since he was like 14, 15. He won the British schools title, same age group and same weight as I did. So I followed him for years. And I knew Brendan Ingle, obviously, and Brendan introduced me to Naz when he was like 15, 16 in Derby. So I watched him as a kid coming through, like, you know, and I seen his first couple of pro fights, and I just thought, no one's going to touch him. At bantamweight, at the time, I was thinking, you know, flyweight, bantamweight, super bantam, featherweight, super feather. No one's going to touch him. He's just too much, just so hard. And obviously, the fight was offered to Alan. It was better money than he had, a lot better money than he had previously. So we went with the fight, and we trained hard, and we was in good shape for it. You know, did the weight properly, and you know, we did everything. He prepared for it properly, and he went in that fight to win. He wasn't up there. He didn't sit up there to, you know, get beat. He went up there to win, and he was just immense. The power from him was amazing. He got dropped on the first round. The first round, he came back to the corner. I said, "Okay, we'll go the first round out of the way now. Just take your time. If you get caught again like that, keep your guard nice and tight. If you get caught again like that, look to me in the corner, and I will do the count from there." I was looking across the Naz, and he was up off his stool, ready for action, like, you know. And Alan got caught again in the second round. After, I think Alan caught him with a good shot, and Naz's response was like to look him down. I thought, you're having it now, like, you know. He was lethal. 2 seconds.
No problem at all.
That's Roger. Right, so
no problem.
Alan got caught again. Alan caught him with a good shot, and Naz sort of looked at him as if to say, like, you're having it now, like, you're having it. And he caught Alan with another shot. Alan went down on the ropes, sat on the floor, and I just counted 4, 5, 6. I looked across to Naz, and Naz was just there with his hands folded, ready for action, like, you know. And I just said, stay there. And we just got counted out. Wasn't hurt. He got up and he was fine, like, you know, but his power was amazing. Really, really good. And I predicted the same thing for Steve Robinson years later when he fought Steve in Cardiff. I just thought there's no way you're going to live with it. He's going to ruin you. You know, he's just immense. And I honestly think if he'd stayed with Brendan Ingle and not gone across, I'm not putting Emmanuel Stewart down, but Brendan Ingle had the hold over him, which is more than just a trainer boxer. He was like a father figure to him, and he had that discipline there. He could tell Naz that you're not doing this, you're doing this. He could tell him off, like a kid.
Yeah.
But no one else could. So when Emmanuel Stewart was telling him do this, and if he didn't want to do it, he didn't do it. And I think if he'd stayed, I honestly believe if he'd stayed with Brendan Ingle, he'd have been a legend today.
He still only fought. He still only lost the one fight in it, Barrera.
Yeah,
you know. But there's many fighters who lost against Barrera. But I've always said Naz only fought two good people in his life. That was me and Barrera.
Well, that's completely factual, isn't it? So, but like, to be fair, it's one of those, isn't it? As you say, it's interesting actually getting your opinion on the fact of obviously changing his team. We've seen that in all forms of boxing, how that can have positives and negatives. Do you reckon he maybe wouldn't have had that one loss to his name then if he had have stuck with his original trainer?
You know, that's why I do believe that myself, but you know, who knows at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, often you have something when you change somebody from a young age or for a long time or through a period of time, you've gone through ups and downs, change of weights, could be a marriage, childbirth, all these different things you've been through, obstacles you've got over. And when you go to somebody new, they don't know you like that other person. So there's a part of your training missing. That's what I believe. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I get that completely.
So you go to a new trainer who might have 5-10 years more experience, or experience on a different tier. You know, 5, 6, 10 world champions. So he's on a different tier to a local British level fighter, maybe. But they're still missing that connection with you.
That's why I was a bit worried with Tyson Fury when he changed trainers with from Ben Johnson.
Ben, yeah.
Yeah, not Ben Johnson.
Davidson.
Ben Davidson. Yeah. And I thought, is he going to come short in his next fight? But no.
Yeah, you felt with Ben Davidson, it was very much for him. He was a massive part in getting Tyson Fury, obviously, to lose the weight, wasn't it? I think once he did, maybe he felt there was someone that maybe could give him that bit more boxing knowledge, maybe, to go and then deal with the powerhouse that was Deontay Wilder. But yeah, for sure. Guys, we just want to give, obviously, just want to say a massive thank you for coming on. It's been great to get both of your insights, really. Obviously, Alan, yourself, former boxer, Tony, a very respected trainer, and we really just wanted to thank you for coming on.
No worries, we enjoyed it.
Yeah, hopefully, guys, it's going to be a big fight on Saturday. It'll be interesting to see who has the last laugh. Hopefully, me and Alan will be having a good laugh, and we'll be correct with Usyk, but I don't know, maybe not, mate. I think we all want to see that Joshua Fury fight, don't we? So who knows? For me and Alan, it's a win-win situation either way, isn't it? At the end of the day, if Joshua wins,
I got a bet with Alan, 150. 150 bet. I bet on a win.
Well, Alan's definitely going to be cheering on Usyk then.
Yeah,
and then obviously you likewise. Guys,
I might even go to £2.
Guys, as always, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and as I say, we'll be doing a watch along on Saturday for the fight. So, see you on the next one.
Cheers,
guys.